What is going on YouTube? It's Evan. Haven't made a video in many years, but I'm gonna start periodically posting, and basically the content is going to revolve around this car I just picked up. It's a 2010 335i 6-speed manual transmission. It is have an N54 engine in it. Oh, Ivy wanted to come say hey. It is powered by N54. It basically has like minor upgrades, intakes, downpipes, a tune. It has coils, coil packs in it. Pretty much nothing crazy. Charge pipe intercooler, nothing too crazy. Just a mild tune on it. And I'm gonna be slowly transitioning into single turbo and just doing, just an E90 build, just another E90 build. So that's kind of the goal of it. And if anybody enjoys this kind of content, make sure to like it, follow along for the build process, and let me know what kind of cars you guys got. If y'all are rocking BMWs, Mustangs, Camaros, hopefully no Hellcats, but either way, just let me know what you got in the comments. And other than that, I'll show you the vehicle and show you what I'm gonna be doing to it today. All right, so the first thing we're gonna be doing is we're gonna be taking this 335 badge off. So all I'm gonna do is take a heat gun and very carefully distribute the heat to the emblem, because if you get the paint too hot, heat guns are very hot. They can mess up paint, mess up everything else. So we're gonna lightly apply it, get it softened up, and then we'll get it off. I know in those B-roll shots, you could probably tell it's pretty dirty. All I did was take the wheels and tires off first, clean the barrels of the wheels and get the wheels really nice. And I'm gonna clean the body after we take this badge off, so it has not been washed yet. So I just got like a plastic interior tool. Just get up underneath it, kind of pry her off. You can use fishing line too. I just don't, my fishing line that I have, I'll try it right now, but I'll show you. You can use fishing line too, but this fishing line I have is pretty low strength, so it kind of breaks a little easy. You just kind of fish it behind it. Here, I'll go from this side so you can maybe get a better angle. Fish it behind there, and then just work it up. Slowly work it up. Yep. Now, you just grab you a drill, grab you an eraser wheel. Okay. Once you secure the eraser wheel on there, you run it kind of slow because this can also mess up the paint too, but just take your time. Just run it slow, run it even, and we're just gonna knock this 3M tape off here, double-sided tape. Now I'm just gonna grab some 50% isopropyl alcohol and 50% distilled water. I'm just gonna grab a microfiber, spray it straight onto the rag. Just come in here and clean this up a little bit. Should break down that adhesive pretty good. There's stuff, a couple little spots left. Still is very bad ghosting. It's been on there for many years. There you go, hang on. Come out. There we go. Yep, 335. Yep, and we're just gonna put the buffer on that and take it right out. Let me get y'all a light. I feel bad now. Should have brought a light over here. Looking like a real amateur. I'm sorry about that. I'm an amateur, but either way. All right, now you can kind of see. This is what we're going to be taking off the ghosting with. We got Rupes Fine Polish, the yellow bottle, Rupes yellow microfiber pad, and the Bigfoot 15mm random orbital. Way off. All right. We are going to prime this pad. All I did to prime it was put a couple lines on the pad, just rub it in, and then to get it up to temperature, we're gonna go ahead and run it for about 20-30 seconds on low. Just to clarify, if I was doing an entire paint correction on the vehicle, I would do this on a flat surface and go ahead and let it heat up. But since all we're trying to do is just take out this light ghosting of the emblem, we're just gonna run it like this. And then we're gonna bump it up to about speed setting 3. Go grab a polishing towel. We're just gonna buff the excess off, see what it looks like. Also, if we were doing a full paint correction, we absolutely would have clay barred this vehicle first. That looks pretty good. The ghosting is gone. And I'm happy with that because the paint has not been corrected yet, and I'm gonna let it roll like that until I get bored enough to wanna correct it. But for now, it's being very well kept, so I'm not in a rush to do it. The paint looks decent on it. But I'm happy with that right there. All right. So it's the next day. That's why I'm dressed differently, but I ran out of daylight yesterday. So we're coming back today to finish this off. And the only thing I'm gonna do basically, I'm gonna start off by removing the hard water that's on the glass. I'm gonna skip the windshield because I think the windshield needs to be replaced anyways, but I'm just gonna do the back glass, all the roll downs and the little quarter windows. And we're just gonna remove the hard water, and I'll show you how to do that. After that, we're just gonna detail the outside, get in all the door jams, get in the trunk jams, just bring her back all the way. And then we're going to put a spray sealant on it. And before we do that, we're gonna clay bar it. I just made those steps all out of order, but you'll see it because it's gonna be in order when I do it. All right, so first thing, to remove hard water, there's multiple different ways. People have all kinds of products to do it, but what I've found seems to be the easiest way and the best results and this strips everything. So if you have a coating on your glass and you just wanna remove like a top layer of hard water, don't use this because it's gonna take your coating off too. But it's from Stoner brand and it's invisible glass stripper, and it comes with this bottle. It's similar to a polish or a compound because it has like a gritty substance to it, but it also is pretty liquid. And then it comes with this foam applicator pad. Now the only thing you're gonna do with this, I actually need to go grab my water real quick, hang on. All right, now that you got your water on standby, because you will need water for this, I just have the pressure water. It don't have to be a pressure washer. You can use any water source at all. This is just what I have. So the rags, you'll need some rags too, set off to the side. So what we're gonna start off doing is shaking up the product really well. Oh! Oops, my bad. Sometimes I get a little carried away. But shake it up really well. And then we're just gonna come in, apply a liberal amount to the pad. And then we're gonna come in and we're gonna work it in circular motions. Try to get as close to the edge as you can. I would not recommend getting it on your paint. or the gaskets. I'm kind of scared about the rubber gaskets here, but I really want like every inch possible removed. Just working in circles, and it will thicken up and start to dry out. So I'll show you what it do once you get a certain section finished. Like I said, this will remove coatings, hard water, anything that's on the top surface of your glass. It's gonna take it off. And then all we're gonna do is wet this towel right here. I just got a random microfiber. Just get it really nice and saturated. Get your little ring out. Don't have to be dripping, just wet. I have it folded in quarters so I can use it 8 times. And you'll just come in and wipe it off. Whatever that is didn't come off. Something. All right, I'll flip her back over. But if you can kind of see right here where we stopped at, this part has a lot of contamination and whatnot on it, and this is the strip part. So you can see it's just fully, there's no beading action going on. And like I thought, this rubber gasket is staying white. Just try to like really work it off your gasket. That's just the old gasket coming off, but I don't want any remainder of that product on the gasket. Try to get out as best as possible. All right, so basically you just repeat that process over. I'm not gonna bore you with it with the sound, so I'll do a little time lapse portion of it. But just always try to shake the bottle as soon as you're ready to work with it. No! I'm sorry, I get carried away. Like I said earlier. Yeah, just shake it really well. Like I said, liberal amount on the pad. I'd recommend getting more than enough rags, because it does like to spread around and stuff once one side is kind of consumed with the product. So I would suggest having a lot of rags, but it works pretty well. And if you need an old coating off or hard water, I'd say this is the product you're looking for. Like I said, I just want to make sure that all of that is off, because just like any kind of abrasive or polish or anything, you want to make sure you get all of the excess off, because it's going to damage whatever it stays on. All right, last section of this back glass, and the smaller the window is, the easier it is. That's why I'm skipping the windshield today, partially because I'm lazy and partially because. So yeah, just repeat this process on all the windows that you need the hard water removed, and you should be good. All right, so you saw us get the hard water off. That was the first step of everything. I didn't finish all the windows. That's why you didn't see me do all the windows, because we're running low on daylight. So I'm gonna go ahead and wash it, get all the crevices, nooks and crannies, door jams, trunk jams, as much little tiny bits as I can. And then we're gonna rinse it, and then we're gonna clay bar it, and then we're gonna put the spray scent on it. So I just wanna show you before I get into the depth of it. What I'm gonna be using for clay is the DIY Detail synthetic clay towel. This thing supposedly, I did a truck with it and it did really well. You do it in fourths, fold it in fourths, and you go over the paint. No pressure at all needed. You just go over it. And then the lubrication we're gonna be using with the clay is the DIY Detail rinseless wash. We're gonna put like 3 ounces in this gallon bucket right here, and then that's gonna dilute that. We're gonna use that for the lubrication. And then for the shampoo, I'm using Adams Polish's graphene shampoo just for the 2-bucket wash. And then inside of my foam cannon, I've got just the regular Adams car shampoo, just the blue stuff, pH neutral. The graphene is supposed to be SiO2 infused, so it has some SiO2 properties in it, but that's why I'm washing it. This car was supposedly ceramic coated a couple years ago. I mean, the guy that I got it from really maintained it well. The paint's in great condition, everything's in great condition, so I'm just gonna spruce her up, make her look right. We're gonna go ahead and get the foam gun ready. So what I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna go ahead and give her a nice rinse down, good rinse all over. I already cleaned the wheels and tires yesterday. I pulled them off and did the barrels, and the wheels and tires are pretty good. I did just drive it, so it might be a little bit of brake dust, but I'm just gonna give her a good rinse down, and then we're gonna foam it, and then I'm gonna come in and do the contact wash. So normally I would use like a, I like using P&S bug, I don't know, it's a bug remover from P&S, but I like to coat the fronts and the mirror caps with that. But I don't have any of that, I ran out of that, so we're just gonna, there's not many bug guts anyways on it, so we're gonna go ahead and wash it. One thing I forgot to mention, what we're putting on top. Oh yeah, I did forget to say this. After we clay bar it, or before we clay bar it, I'm gonna use Geon iron, which is gonna remove all of the iron contaminants, so any kind of metals that have embedded themselves into the paint. This right here is going to accelerate the breakdown process of those metals, and it's gonna bleed purple. You'll see it when we put it on. So we're gonna iron X it before we clay it, and then after, this is the final step. This is Geon wet coat, and this has SiO2 properties, and this is a spray-on rinse-off solution to paint sealant, basically. I mean, it's not gonna last forever. It's not as hard as ceramic coating, but it's gonna give a, if this was coated, which it does look pretty good on the side there, there's some good beading action going on, and it's gonna bring this coating right back to life. So that's gonna be the final step. Go ahead and take a look at that back glass. That's where that'll show exactly what we did with the sunroof as well. But the way that how the side windows look compared to it, this is beading up and sheeting off. This right here is just sticking right on top of the surface. So, and then you can see the paint work too. The paint work is beading up. This is just, that's exactly what that stuff does. So it stripped every single thing that was on top of that glass right off of it. We're gonna go ahead and foam it down and do the contact wash on it. Always got to get your door jams if they ain't taken care of. Don't be afraid to get all up in the door jams. They get dirty. Might as well wash them just like the outside of the car. Door seals. Definitely get up in these crevices. The soap I use is not going to damage any interior piece. It's going to get all that nasty grime. It's been up in there for a while, right out of there. And I'll show you exactly how to rinse it all off too. Gas door, always got to get your gas door. Lots of grime builds up in there. Already got in there pretty well. I am gonna get the tips, but I'm gonna wait till I do the rest of the paint so I'm not cross-contaminating the carbon buildup that's on the tips all over the paintwork. All right, I'm gonna come into my dirty bucket because I have not done this the whole time. You should do this more often than I have in this video. 2-bucket method, dirty bucket. Get down there on the grit guard. Wring her out. Oh, into the shop. Back in the clean bucket. That way it gets as much dirt off as possible. And this paint, this work, whoop, can't even speak. This soap is pH neutral, so it's okay if it dries on the surface of the paint. It's just gonna wake back up and rinse right off as soon as we activate it with the water. Mirror caps. This car was not really driven enough to be extra detailed all the time, so there's a couple little spots that just, like the door jambs, they haven't been cleaned in a while. Things that get dirty over time, not something necessarily that always stays dirty. All right, we're gonna do the door jambs on this side. Everything nice and clean. I know a lot of people don't really like washing cars. It takes a lot of time. Detailing something I enjoy. I like using all the right products, doing everything right, because if you don't have, just like working on cars, if you don't have anything to work on cars, all the tools and things needed to work on cars, working on cars is a pain. If you have everything right to do the job right, it makes the job a lot easier, a lot more fun to do. Last annoying part, the trunk lid, trunk channel. This hasn't been done in a while, it's pretty bad. There's the beauty cover for the engine. It doesn't fit on the engine right now because the guy, he has Precision Raceworks coils on it. Wouldn't necessarily opt for Precision Raceworks coils. I've heard that they're not really worth all the money. See if you can get that side sealed, the dirty portion. Come back with the pressure washer and blast all this crud out of here. You can see just on the mitt how nasty it was. That's why I waited to do this last so I wasn't smearing that all around the paintwork. Get it in there really good. Oh yeah, very nice. All the crevices. This might look like crackhead activities to some people, and I might agree with that, but no one can lie that it looks awesome when everything is perfectly clean. This thing looks like it's 2010 again. I mean, look at this right here. That's the kind of crow that winds up in the crevices, and then we're just gonna come in with the power washer and just blast the rest of it out. All right, now we're ready to rinse. Let me get these tips real quick. Let's see if they'll come back chrome. Catless N54 leads to a lot of carbon buildup. Probably just ruined this wash mitt, but we'll talk about that later. All right, we're ready to rinse. All right, next step. Oh, I gotta rinse the door jambs. So all you do is spray it directly inside the carpet. No, actually we're just gonna take the power washer and just angle it where it just doesn't spray inside the car. It's pretty much that simple. Now we're on to the next step. It's totally fine for the vehicle to stay wet during this process. We're going to use the iron decontaminant from Gyeon Iron, just like I said earlier. That's the bottle. Shake it up really well before you use it. We're going to show you what this stuff does. So we're going to spray it all over everything, glass, paint, everything. Just give it good sprays, good coating on everything. It smells like rotten eggs. That's normal for iron decontaminant. And you can do this on top of ceramic coatings. It is safe for that. It doesn't go through the coating at all. And it's gonna be interesting to see exactly how much it pulls off. It'll start to change to a darker purple color as it activates and does the chemical reaction with the contaminants. Might be a little hard to see on gray paint. He said it was garage kept, so there really might not be that much on there. But we're gonna do it anyways. And we're gonna let it dwell for about 3 to 5 minutes. A general rule of thumb for detailing is always do it on a cool surface. If possible, in the shade. Oh yeah. Right here, all that purpleness.
Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, there's quite a bit. All over the hood. But yeah, we're gonna let this dwell for about 3 to 5 minutes, and it's gonna accelerate that process, and we're gonna rinse it right off. Thoroughly rinse it. And this is something you definitely wanna do in the shade. You do not want this product drying on your vehicle. It is pretty instantaneous reaction. You don't have to use Geon. There's a lot of people that make iron remover. It's a very readily available product across a bunch of different brands. Geon's a good brand. CarPro was one of the original, I guess, chemists that made it up. CarPro iron is good. Iron X, I think is what they call it, something like that. But yeah, we're just gonna sit here and let this dwell. It's been sitting there a good time. We're gonna go ahead and rinse it so I can show you the clay bar before all my camera batteries die. As you can see, the hydrophobic properties of the ceramic coating is not affected at all. So it's totally safe for ceramic or any kind of top coat. I'm not sure about like regular carnauba wax and stuff. I'm not sure, but I know for ceramic coatings it is safe. All right, last step, or second to last step. We're gonna go ahead and clay bar. So this waterless wash, rinseless wash, it's basically the same thing, waterless wash. The product itself is just called rinseless wash. But yeah, we're just gonna put literally a couple ounces in here to this whole bottle. I mean, to this gallon. It's more than enough. Maybe a little more just for fun. The water here is really hard, so we're gonna take this rinseless wash from DIY Detail with the clay towel. Put some of that in the bucket. It really doesn't take much. Lay it flat on the surface. We're gonna fold it into quarters. Fold the rag into quarters so it applies even pressure. And we're just gonna back and forth motion using the lubrication from the rinseless wash. And it definitely needed to be clayed. This is not really something you can see as much as you can feel and hear it. That's all of the abrasiveness, the abrasives, contaminants, better word for it, not abrasives. But a clay is an abrasive. But as all the contaminants leave the paint surface. feel it get smoother. Little to no pressure at all. Just work it on the paint. Oh, it absolutely needed it. We're just gonna come back in, dip it in our bucket every so often after every panel or two. Start fresh. I'm jumping around a lot. You do wanna do it in a little bit of a organized pattern. Otherwise you might forget certain spots. So, we're just having fun with it, you know? This is, I've been wanting a car of my own so I can detail it. I do detail work on the side, so it's always on someone else's car. I haven't had my own car to detail in a while. We're just gonna do all surfaces of the paint work. This can also help get off really stuck on bug guts. Clay's really good for picking that kind of stuff up. It'll even take out rock chips. No, I'm just kidding. Oh, that is just terrible. If you ever wonder whether your car needs to be clay barred or not, just wipe something across the surface, and if it feels very rough and sticky, not necessarily sticky as in tacky, but sticky as in it's not moving smooth, then it probably needs to be clay barred. Gritty, gritty. What do we, so gritty that you need a clay bar? That's when you need it. All right, last side. Now all you're gonna do once you're done with that is just rinse it, and then we're gonna put the spray sealant on there. All right, last step. We're almost running out of battery, so I gotta hurry up quick. But the last step, Gyeon wet coat. We washed it, iron X'd it, clay barred it. This is going to be a little bit of protection going on top of the coat. And it does, I mean, that coating that's on there is pretty good. So you're just gonna see, we're gonna see if we can tell the difference whether or not the wet coat brings it back. Either way, it's leaving a sacrificial layer on top. So all you do is you come in, and actually you are gonna be able to really see it where I stripped the glass. So how, look at that, that's wet right there. It almost looks dry, but that's wet right there. Literally spray it directly on the surface, and we're gonna do this panel by panel. So I'm gonna do the roof, and then I'm gonna come down and do the rest, but you can already see it starting to bead up. Glass, everything. All right, so look, it's already separated, and then we're just gonna rinse directly back off. And it is good on the glass. We're gonna put like an actual coating on this glass. It's not just gonna be this. But you can definitely see on the paintwork how tight those beads are. So it definitely livened up that coating that was on there already. So we're just gonna work in sections and go around the whole thing. And that's really what you want to see right there. Woo! Water can't wait to get off of that. Well, that just about does it for the detail. I think old girl got a nice little treatment. That was the first time I washed her. I didn't mention this earlier in the video, but I live in Eastern North Carolina and I drove to Long Island, New York last weekend to pick this car up. So I put her through one hell of a road trip as soon as I got her. But got her back, washed her up, look at that water, still just falling off. Next step is just, I'm gonna grab a blower and dry the car off. So if you made it this far, you either really like detailing, really like 335s, or just stayed to make fun of me the whole time. So I don't really know what you stayed for, but thanks for watching the video. And I'm gonna go ahead and dry it off and put her in the shop for the night.